Now we're moving on from multiplying fractions and mixed numbers to dividing fractions and mixed numbers. This just adds one step to the process when we're dealing with fractions. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, or multiplying by its multiplicative inverse. Hence why we use the word reciprocal instead. All that means, reciprocal or multiplicative inverse, is that we flip the numerator and denominator. So 3/5 divided by 1/4 equals 3/5 times 4/1. Then we just multiply across the top. 3 times 4 is 12. Multiply across the denominators. 5 times 1 is 5. And then that ends up being 2 2/5. If you don't believe me, you can work it out. 12 divided by 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. Put a decimal here. Bring down the 0. 5 times 4 is 20. And we could have stopped right, so it's 2.4, or we could have stopped right here when we had a remainder of 2. We put that over what we're dividing by, and that's 2 2/5, just like we found to begin with. Part B, 3/4 divided by -1/8 equals 3/4 times -8/1. We can use our little trick of 4 divided by 4 is 1. -8 divided by 4 is -2. If we multiply across the top, we have 3 times -2/1 times 1 in the bottom, and that equals -6. Part C, we are asked to find -3 divided by -3/8. Again, we write that out as a multiplication problem, multiplying by the reciprocal of what we're dividing by. That equals -3 times, we'll go ahead and put that over 1, times -8/3. Now we know the answer is going to be positive because a negative times a negative is a positive. And we also know that a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so we should have known that from the very beginning. We'll use our trick of canceling common factors in the numerator and denominators of each. So -3 divided by -3 is 1. We'll go ahead and get rid of this negative. We'll put it with the -3, and -3 divided by -3 is 1. 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1, so this ends up equaling 8. And last but not least, 2/3 divided by 4/3. We multiply by the reciprocal. 2/3 times 3/4. We flip 4/3 to make 3/4. Now we have a lot of cancellation we can do. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Multiply across the top, we have 1 times 1 over multiply across the bottom, 1 times 2, which equals 1/2.